Hey guys, Weird Kid here. It's a gloomy day here in Florida. We're getting this big system that's moving across the lower end of the country. There, we got in Florida here. We got an 80% chance of rain. I know Alabama's getting hammered. There's a lot of tornadoes and bad weather, so it's limiting my activities outside. But it's kind of good because I wanted to address something and just make sure that we're clear. Yesterday, I shared my COVID-19 plague doctor trailer, and someone made the comment that it was construed as it was taken negatively, that it was insensitive to what's going on with the virus and all this and that, and you know um, that it might offend people who's been touched by the virus as far as death in the family. Um, that it was possibly dark humor or taking the virus lightly, or even that I'm striving for controversy. I am none of those things. Let me just be clear as to what the plague doctor, this piece, the COVID-19 plague doctor, represents to me. As a father and a husband, I've got 4 young children, and this thing, quite frankly, has scared the living crap out of me. If I was single, it would be one thing, because if I got sick, then it would just be myself to take care of. If I was one of those unfortunate ones that ended up in the hospital, then, you know, um, c'est la vie. But no, I am a father of 4 small children, and I have a wife, and the thought of something happening to them absolutely terrifies me. Especially knowing that if one of the small children, especially our 2-year-old baby, were carted off to the hospital because she can't breathe, that we wouldn't be able to go visit her. She would be alone, and it's just absolutely horrible. This disease is horrible, this virus, and I don't take it lightly whatsoever. The plague doctor, this piece that I'm making is more of a personal piece than what I would call a prop. It is an art piece. It is an expression of how I see the crisis. The plague doctor himself, in this case, to me, represents the virus itself. The plague doctor, when he would arrive during the 1300s, the plague, bubonic plague, it wasn't a sigh of relief when you saw him. It wasn't good news. It was actually the opposite. It was very grim, because he was not a physician that was coming to heal. Most of these villagers that hired, small villages and townships that hired these plague doctors to make their rounds, weren't actually there to heal. There was nothing you could do. There was no cure for the Black Plague. Their job was more of end of life, for one, and to keep an accurate count of the deceased. There were some that tried to heal by bathing the bodies in fresh posies, the flowers, which is where the posies is mentioned frequently when it comes to the bubonic plague. But to me, in this case, the plague doctor itself, to me, represents the virus itself, the unknown, the ominous. We have an invisible enemy out there. You can't see it, you can't smell it, you can't taste it. You could come in contact with it and not even know. And it's making its rounds, just like the plague doctor made its rounds. Okay, so the plague doctor itself, in this case, represents the virus to me. The carved COVID-19 on The staff is, to me, this is a, I'm never going to forget this time in history. We get through this and everything's okay. If I don't get sick, my family doesn't get sick, or it doesn't touch us on a more personal level than it has some. Regardless, I am never going to forget this time. This was, I've never in my life lived through anything like this, as most of you haven't either. Um, there's going to be a bunch of elements that are in this plague doctor that are personal to me and have representation to me. I am an artist. I love to build things, but I am an artist, and I put my heart and soul and perceptions and fears and joys into my artwork. And I wanted to build a plague doctor because to me it's an ultimate representation for me of what's going on, as far as, I'm trying to put in perspective and make sense of this madness that we're living right now. The bubonic plague was nothing like the coronavirus. It was far more contagious, but then again, the sanitary conditions back in those days was not up to par like they are now. If this was the 1300s, I wonder what the death toll would be with the coronavirus then. Okay, one thing that is very similar between that period and this period is the fact that the social distancing. People were fearful of being around each other, or in fear of getting sick. There was the hoarding of food, and the social collapse, and that has happened. It has happened because the toilet paper is a perfect example. Your neighbor, who is the sweetest person in the world, normally when the lights go out or you're faced with a crisis, everyone will go into survival mode, and that's where you start to see the social collapse. The piece is not done. When I release this tutorial, I will put a disclaimer to explain that this is not a controversial piece. The purpose of my tutorial is to show you how you can make a 1/1 scale figure. In this case, I make a plague doctor. The plague doctor as a character is popular anyways. I'd always liked that representation because it's a scary, ominous looking, entity, if you will. But it's not here to offend. It's not to be controversial. It's to show you how you can make a 1/1 scale figure, basically. Whether you choose to make a plague doctor or not, it's up to you. I don't expect you to make a COVID-19 plague doctor like I made, because that's very personal to me. I made it for me. I don't even call it a prop at this point. I call it an art piece. And like I said, there is a part 1 and part 2. When part 2 comes around, I think those that are questioning me will better understand my motives and what the actual piece represents. If you personally have been touched by this virus on the level to where your family member has gotten sick or even possibly perished as a result of this, my heart goes out to you. I am truly sorry. And but we're all in this together. I've got a family that I'm worried about their safety, and I am an essential worker. I have to go to work every day and be around people, so I am at risk of bringing this home to my family or getting sick myself. I live in Florida, so they're already talking about opening up the beaches, even though the numbers are climbing. It makes absolutely no sense. This thing makes no sense. So I hope you understand. I will continue to make this thing, and I will continue to make the tutorial. But I think I will have a disclaimer in the beginning of the video. And again, I don't mean to offend anybody, but it's going to happen. So I will take the brunt of what's to come. I just wanted to state my position on it. Frankly, I didn't want to do a lengthy vlog today on the actual coronavirus itself and how my prop or my art piece is to be perceived, but I just want to clear the air, and I'll take the brunt of what comes after, So I hope you guys have a great day. To change topic and on a lighter note, I have started another prop today. The Plague Doctor tutorial's coming. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of moving parts. The weather's not great. I wanted to shoot some additional footage. It's not going to happen today. So I've switched gears and I started working on something totally different. Another thing that's outside my comfort zone. And it's actually, I'm in the works now. I came out to take a break and give you guys a little heads up and just to say hello. And I will be posting that here not too far off. So I'm a little excited about this one because I will say I'm doing some corpsing. For the first time I'm doing corpsing, and I'm excited about that. So anyways, I appreciate all of you, and I hope you guys manage to have a nice day today. You take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and until tomorrow, I appreciate you. Peace.